Hi everybody and welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, and with me as always is, well, usually the lovely Tiff-tastic or Grand Tiff Tarkin, but she's not here today. And I still wanted to get this video out and I wanted to talk about this subject, and I've been meaning to do it for a long time. So hey, it's just you and me, all of our faithful viewers and me. But if this is your first time here at the Poindexter Lounge, know this. We are so glad that you are here. We appreciate each and every one of our subscribers, and we're so glad that you tune in pretty much every day to watch our videos. So thank you so much. And if this is your first time, will you please consider hitting that subscribe button so that you can be a part of this group? I mean, we always say this is a place for nerds. This is a place where we can talk about things like Star Wars and TV shows and movies and superheroes and games and toys. This is for all things nerds. So you are welcome. Please also hit that notifications bell so that you know when we put out videos, which is every day. And then also, if you like the content, if you like what you see here, please give us a thumbs up on the video and share the video with others so that other nerds can be a part of what we do. And of course, as always, we want to have a conversation with you. We want to be able to talk to you and interact with you. So please, either leave a comment down in the comment section, or you can follow us on Twitter. Follow me at Enosh Music, or follow Tiff at Grand Tiff Tarkin. You can follow the channel itself at Poindexter Lounge with just an X in the middle, or you can always hashtag Poindexter Lounge. And if you do that, let us know where you're from, okay? Wherever in the world you're from, let us know where you're at. Because actually that excites us and gives us meaning and purpose to do what we do. When we see that somebody on the other side of the planet is watching our videos, man, that excites us. That gets us going because we know that, we're reaching people and that people are watching what we do. So we want to know where you're from. We want to know where our viewers are from. So please do that today. And let's become friends, all right? Nerd friends. All right, well, today we're talking about something that I've been thinking about a long time as a Star Wars fan. Ever since the prequels, or sorry, not the prequels, I guess overall this has been a thing since the prequels, but all the way up now into the sequel trilogy. And that is, with all the story that's been told from start with Anakin, Luke, and now Kylo Ren, do we really want Kylo Ren to be redeemed? Now, the internet, if you go on the internet and you look this up, there's tons of people talking about why they do want him to be redeemed, why they don't want him to be redeemed, why they want him to be saved, and a lot of people, they want that because that's a great storytelling device, right? I mean, it's good to see the bad guy reform, change, come to the light side, help the good guys, and all the good guys win. Goodness wins, and that's great. And everybody, shakes hands, and we have a party in the Ewok village, and we see all the dead Force ghosts, and everybody's happy. And that's how Return of the Jedi ended. And then reality sets in that's not always how things work out. But that was one person's story in the Star Wars universe. And that was this guy, Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker. He started off as this young kid full of joy and hope and had all this potential, had all the potential in the world to be anything that he wanted to be and to be the greatest Jedi that ever lived. And then as he got older, he allowed that selfishness to creep in. He allowed his wants to creep in, and it corrupted him. And it got him thinking off, right? So that he thought more about Padme than he did about what was going on around him, as Yoda would say. Always looking off to the future, just as Luke ended up doing, instead of where he was and what he was doing. And so that's why he was seduced by the dark side, because Palpatine was able to manipulate that in him and give him these false hopes and these false claims, to twist the dreams that he was having into being reality when they weren't. And that reality ended up becoming true because of Anakin's choices and the mistakes that he made. In the end, though, all the good in Anakin wasn't killed off when he became Darth Vader. Even losing his limbs and most of his humanness, there was still this good in Anakin that his son Luke was able to bring out in him years later. Even after all of the Jedi purge and after all the killing that Vader did, there was still this little ounce of good in him. And, a lot of times that's the way it is in real life. You have these evil people or people that we think are horrible. There's still a little good in them that they can be saved. And that's true of a lot of people. And I tend to think that. I mean, as a pastor myself, I try to hope for the best in people and what they can be. But the reality is that's not everybody's story. That was Anakin's story of how he fell to the dark side, he came back from the dark side, and into the light, and he was able to be an instrumental part in defeating the Empire in the story. And what a great story, right? I mean, everybody's happy, everybody's celebrating, it's all good. But that was Anakin's story. Then we come to Luke. Luke Skywalker, a farm boy taken away from his parents, never knowing them, raised by his aunt and his uncle on a desert planet, always looking off, hoping to accomplish something more. Then all of a sudden he gets this amazing opportunity to become a Jedi Knight, to go out into the galaxy and make a difference, and he does, and he's hopeful, and all these great things are happening. And, you know, over the story between Star Wars, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, he ends up being faced with the same choices that his dad was faced with. You know, should he join the dark side? Should he give in to his own feelings, to his passions, and become just like his father? In the end, Luke had the strength and the wherewithal to resist the temptation. As Luke threw away his lightsaber and told Palpatine, "I am a Jedi Knight, like my father before me." Luke didn't give in to the pressures of the dark side. Luke was able to overcome those and be something greater. And I think that's why we all had so much expectation for Luke when it came to the sequel trilogy and what Luke could have become. But also we see that, just like real life, it doesn't always play out that way. And just because we're young and hopeful at one point in our life doesn't mean by the time we get old that we're not kind of old and you know, angry and upset about how things are, and we blame ourselves for mistakes made, and we live with those mistakes. And anybody who says that that doesn't happen, I would say that they're not facing reality, because that kind of stuff does happen every day. People, they live with the mistakes that they make, and it brings them down to a place that they never thought they could be, that in their younger years they were so much more. Which brings us to Kylo Ren, this third generation, the grandson of Anakin Skywalker. This young man had all the promise in the world, being trained by his uncle to be a Jedi Knight. Yet there was something in him, this evil that was lurking beneath the surface that Luke saw. Luke made the mistake of having a moment of weakness and thinking that he could annihilate that evil all in one swoop of a lightsaber. And then as he realized that that wasn't the way to handle it, unfortunately Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, woke up and saw Luke standing there. Now this is a character that a lot of people, I think, misunderstand. A lot of people said he was whiny, that he was this and that, because he was always trying to be something that he wasn't. You know, he wanted to live up to this legacy of his grandfather. He wanted to live up to the legacy of his uncle, but he couldn't be either of those things. And so when Snoke came along, Snoke seduced him and put all these thoughts in his mind, and we still maybe have yet to see more of that story even and how that played out. But now, as we have him now, he's the supreme leader of the First Order. He has taken over and done some pretty horrible things. I mean, he killed Han Solo. And I know that there's lots of people who wish that, oh no, Han flipped the switch because Han knew that he needed to do it for him. No, if you read the novelization, it's pretty clear that Kylo Ren did that. Kylo Ren killed his dad. And that's not to say that just because he killed his dad that, you know, that's it. He can't be redeemed. But I'm realizing more and more that I don't want Kylo Ren to be redeemed. I don't want him to come back from the dark side, because that's not his story. You see, you had Anakin who fell to the dark side and came back. That's Anakin Skywalker's story. You had Luke Skywalker, his son, who was tempted by the dark side, yet resisted and remained true to the light. And then you have Ben Solo, who starts off with good, is tempted to the dark side, yet is still tempted by the light. And I love how they put that in these movies, that he's still tempted by the light side of the Force, just as Luke was tempted by the dark side of the Force. But I don't want him to be redeemed. And I know that may sound funny, but I don't want him to become the good guy. I don't want him at the end to turn on all the bad guys and somehow help save the day and save the galaxy and usher in a new world of peace. It's the wrong movie, and it's the wrong character. I think what would be most fitting for Star Wars is if Ben Solo perishes as a tragic story and a tragic reality of what can happen in our lives if we follow the dark side. See, because not everybody's saved. Not everybody has a happy ending. I think with Kylo Ren, his decisions are taking him to places, well, as Padme would say, I just can't go. You see, he keeps fighting the light within. There was that moment in The Last Jedi where we all thought that Ben was going to turn to the light, that Rey was actually going to convince him to come back. And that parallels Return of the Jedi, where Luke gets his father to turn back and is that catalyst for sparking that light in him. You know, Rey even uses the term, there's still light in him, there's still good in him, just as Luke did. But see, for some, they can latch on to that little bit of light and it can grow. And for others, they look at it as an opportunity to squash even the little bit of light that's there. So for me, I think it's a better story. I think it's a better tale and a better cautionary tale for us if Kylo Ren stays the bad guy, stays the villain, and then suffers the fate of being that villain. In the expanded universe, Han and Leia had 2 kids. They had a son and a daughter, Jason and Jaina. And Jason ended up falling to the dark side, and his sister ended up having to take him down. And I think it'd be interesting to see how that plays out now in the new canon, where maybe we feel that Kylo Ren is going to turn. It looks like he's going to turn, and then in that moment, he doesn't. And he betrays those who love him most. And in doing so, has to be taken down by those same people. That's my opinion. That's my thoughts on Kylo Ren. I actually really enjoy the character of Kylo Ren, and I see him as a different type of character. He is not the new Darth Vader. He is something else and something completely original. And I think the sooner we realize that about Kylo Ren, the better we can understand him and who he is and what exactly his story arc will be. We get one more movie to learn as much as we can about this character. And I feel that by the time that movie's done, Kylo Ren will be no more. And Kylo Ren will have suffered the fate that his grandfather could have suffered. That is, dying, still a part of the dark side. That's my opinion, but I'm interested in your opinion. What do you guys think out there? Let me know down in the comments section, all right? Let's have a conversation about this. Let's have a conversation about whether or not you think Kylo Ren should be redeemed or not. Let me know down in the comment section or on Twitter. And until next time, I'm Enosh Fett, and we'll see you later. May the Force be with you. Bye-bye.